The implication was that the spinal injury occurred in the van. But 4 days later, Deputy Commissioner Kevin Davis turned the focus back to the scene of the arrest.
And that's where the apprehension of Freddie Gray occurred. And quite frankly, that's exactly where Freddie Gray should have received medical attention, and he did not.
Were you looking through the camera, or were you sort of looking directly at it with your eyes, and the camera was also on?
Well, by the time I start recording him, they have him in like this. It's like a crab-like. The heel of his feet were almost on his back, and like he was already cuffed at the time. So, and then they had his knee. The police had their knee and his neck, and was like he was like crushing his neck really hard.
So they put you in the van, right? Yeah. And you said just about 2 minutes, and they take off. They don't strap you in, right? They don't put a seatbelt on you. Are you moving around in there?
No, not moving. It's a smooth ride. I mean,
Okay.
they wasn't trying to hurt me back there. Nothing. They wasn't trying to intentionally hurt me back there. Nothing.
Could you see the person driving the van?
You can see that, like it's like a polka dot gate, little gate that you
Right.
can see them.
But you can't see the person on the other side. It's completely solid.
No, it's completely solid.
Okay. Now, the story is, according to a newspaper report, the Washington Post, that there was screaming in the van, that you said that he was intentionally screaming and hurting himself.
Untrue.
Okay.
Very, very, very untrue. Very untrue. I never talked to no investigators. I never talked to nobody. I got my own personal lawyer who I haven't talked to all day because of the madness that been going on. The only person that I talked to was homicide. And the exact same story I'm telling y'all, I told them.
There's a relative of one of the officers involved saying that he was irate and screaming and moving around in the back of the van.
While I was back there?
While you were back there, or at
Absolutely
least during
untrue.
part of the ride. I'm not sure if you were back there.
Absolutely untrue.
Not true.
Not true.
You never heard him.
Never heard him. I heard, the only thing that I heard was little banging, like I thought he was banging someone was over there banging their head or something. But now that I know that he was hurt before he got in that van, because they didn't hurt him while he was in the van. First of all, nobody cannot fit in the back of that van. No, they said about a couple police did it to him. Nobody did never come in the back of that van and touch me or nobody on that other side. We didn't make no stops. We went straight to the police station.
So you don't think anybody?
I know for a fact that he did not hurt himself. I know he didn't. A man cannot hurt himself with 3 fractured bones in his neck, a crushed voice box, a spinal cord messed up, and a broken leg. You cannot do that in the paddy wagon. You probably can hit your head and have a little headache, yeah, but you ain't gonna hurt yourself to the point where you're gonna be dead and brutalized like that.
And officers can't get in there to hurt you like that.
Officers, they can stand at the back where the entrance is and probably punch you in your face like this, but what's that gonna do?
Yeah. So you think he was injured before he got in that van?
He was definitely injured before he got in the van.
And so when you get out of the van, do you ever hear any conversations with?
Well, when I got out the van, as I'm going in, see, I'm right, aware of my surroundings for real. So as I'm going in, I'm listening. But when I'm going in, as I'm going in, I do hear someone saying, well, we gave him a run for his money. He's not breathing. Basically saying that they did something to him.
Gave him a run for his money.
Yeah.
He's not breathing.
He's not breathing. He don't have no pulse.
That's what they said.
That's what they said. I don't know who, but I heard police saying that.
As you were getting into
As
the van?
I was going into the police station.
As you were getting out of the van once you got to lockup.
Right.
They said again, what did they say?
We gave him run for his money. He's not breathing. But they wasn't saying it like, guys, we really have a problem here. That's how they said it.
To walk.
Was he saying something? Was he yelling something? And
Well,
if so, could you tell what?
He was asking because he had asthma. He was asking for an inhaler, but of course, no one paid it any mind. So they, of course, just threw him in a paddy wagon and drove off.
I heard this boy hollering and screaming, "Get off of me, get off of me. You hurt my neck, you hurt my neck. Get your knee out my back."
Well, as we've reported, officials in Baltimore have ruled that Freddie Gray's death was a homicide based on the evidence collected and the autopsy report. Joining us now is forensic scientist Dr. Lawrence Kobylinski to discuss the findings of the autopsy. He's from John Jay College here. Thanks for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
You've looked at a lot of autopsy reports. If you were looking at this autopsy report, obviously we haven't seen it, but what do you think you would be looking for?
Well, in particular, I would like to know what sort of trauma is apparent from the x-rays or the examination of the 3 cervical vertebrae that we keep hearing have been fractured.
And remind our audience again when you say the three cervical vertebrae,
right,
where you're talking about.
Yeah, the cervical vertebrae are the uppermost vertebrae in the neck.
I heard this boy hollering and screaming, "Get off of me, get off of me. You hurt my neck, you hurt my neck. Get your knee out my back."
And remind our audience again when you say the three cervical vertebrae,
right,
where you're talking about.
Yeah, the cervical vertebrae are the uppermost vertebrae in the neck.
Is it likely that a defense attorney, Dr. Z, would argue, or Dr. K, would argue that maybe the person in question here did it to themselves? Is it possible to sustain that kind of injury and do it on your own?
It's possible that a defense attorney would take that route. I think it is fruitless because, in my opinion, and in the opinion of others that I have spoken to, you cannot generate enough force to smack your head into a wall and break your neck.
Right, people were talking about him potentially banging his head on the wall, but can you do it?
You can certainly bang your head on the wall, even if you're in handcuffs and you're shackled, but it's not going to break your neck.